There are some things we need to talk about for our next move. I am determined to build a mountain on top of this hill. I'm not going to let them shovel down my hill. I'm not going to wait. And I need to talk to you guys about will and desire. And this is the topic of today, desire. Desire for life. First of all, we need to say some important qualifications about desire, having to do with the negative implications of desiring, which are known to most people and are also known to most spiritual traditions in similar ways. First of all, desire in its negative form is dependence. You create dependencies by wanting things, wanting people, getting attached to people, getting attached to things. Pretty soon you're an addict, more or less. This is negative. This is backwards progress. You are unbecoming. Okay? We do not want to get stuck in desiring in the object-oriented mode of an ordinary person. Let's be a little bit more deep about that and understand why. The mode of desiring which is object-oriented and negative is an expression of the soul's desire to hide. The person who is an addict is trying to hide from the universe and even from him or herself. And they take an object to bury themselves in it, to bury their consciousness in it, their awareness in it. Okay? To snuff out their own consciousness, if you will, their self. Okay? This is very not good. Okay? This is the real extension of dependence, is the death of self. Okay? This is not a positive way to die. Okay? It is not the true spiritual transcendence by any means. It is the absolute polar opposite of that. We must be very aware of that. So on the one hand, we have a desiring which is the form of addiction for relief from life, relief from self, and relief from the universe. Okay? The other type of desiring, which is the positive form of desiring, is the desire for relief from the body. Okay? And it is a desire to take refuge in the expanded mode of being. In other words, it is the desire to, if you will, unhide. Because relative to the transcendent awareness of true positive desiring, being a small little huddled being trapped inside a tiny little body somewhere in the corner of the universe is hiding. And in that sense, it matters relatively little whether you're hiding in your body or someone else's body or in your car or your hobby, if you're hiding. Right? At some point, either the demand and the beauty, the loveliness and the ferocity that the total universe represents to a man or woman, okay, may cause them to wish to collapse and to hide and to run away. This creates addiction. At some point, the pain of hiding causes the being to want to escape from hiding. This is like ollie ollie in free, as we used to have it, okay? Ollie ollie in free means you don't have to hide in the corner anymore. You can come out. It's okay. Therefore, to be analogous to that, a person who for some reason had withdrawn from the entire world and then got out, their friends would think this was good. You see? Right? So would, you see, the spiritual teachers, and so would the yogis, right? They would say, it's good. Love, you see? Get out and about, you see? Get out of the huddle. Okay? So negative desire is all about hiding. Positive desire is all about transcending the cramp of hiding. That's the difference. Very important. People who fail to make that distinction get lost in addiction. Are there any questions about that? All right. So, as long as a person understands the pitfalls of addiction, they are free to desire without fear of desiring. If a person is not hip to the pitfalls of addiction and doesn't know how to handle it, the person will desire not to desire as a self-protective mechanism. Because they know what they do. You see, I know what I do, you know. I get addicted. Therefore, in my infinite wisdom, I have learned not to desire. And I am not interested, thank you, in my world. You see? Shut down, we call that. Shut down. The person shut down. They don't want any thank you. You see? They've turned themselves down, turned themselves off. That's the trap. That's when it gets acute. Because if you want not to want, you can't get out. Which brings us to what desire is good for. It's good for getting somewhere. That's the positive part of it. Right? In other words, nobody ever got out without wanting to get out. Right? That's what desire is good for. In the hospital, and especially in the critical ward, it's critical to the doctors that the patient be hungry, or even that the patient wants something. They worry plenty when the patient is not hungry or doesn't want anything. This is it. This is the critical part. Either this person gets hungry or it's not good. You see? Not hungry, it's time to go. The link to life is the fact that the person wants something out here, is going to consume it and get well. The failure to want is the end. In that sense of the word desire, then desire is obviously a very important thing. And you know that all depressed persons, you see, you want them to come out, they don't want to go out, you see. They no. You see? And then, you see, you're trying to pull them out. And you see? They're holding on. No, I'm not going. I'm not going. You see? They don't want to go. I don't want to go. You see? Something went wrong before. They're afraid to want anything now. They'd rather mini-die, see, shut down. Right? That's what's happening. Okay. Desire comes in all ranges of intensity, okay? But it is the accelerator. If you really want something, it really tends to happen. There is a level of desire which is very difficult to stop. right? In that sense, too, desire has value. And strong desire has greater value than weak desire, huh? So you've got different types of desire. You've got your sort of dink desire. Oh, I think I might want that. You see? I think I might want to be a movie star. You know, and so the agent says, really? Well, if you ever are sure you want to be a movie star, here's my card. Call me. Huh? He knows that person doesn't get to be a movie star without wanting to be a movie star a lot more than what that is. You know, that's not even it. It takes great persistence, great desire to get through the fire, all that stuff that has to happen, you know. So he's looking for that flame in that person, right? If that isn't a bonfire, there's nothing to talk about, right? No, but interestingly, desire is variable. You can fan it and you can quench it. You see, it's not just a coincidence, or it's not out of control. It's not something that people can't control. They say they can't, but that's just because they don't want to. But then, in another time, they find that they're talking themselves in and out of stuff all the time. That new couch, the other thing, what to do, you see. You know, the girl, the guy, they talk themselves in and out of everything. Right? And so, you know, desire is a variable thing. The way out of the jam of the lack of desire is to desire. The failure of desire is to move away from the universe. Away. Right? Fear moves us away. We collapse. We pull in like a hermit crab. Right? The way to fix away is towards. Desire is towards. Right? Or to. In the dying patient, everything is away. If he's hungry, he's to. Right? Away, to. Right? But to is addiction. That's the problem with to. Through. To and through. You get addicted if you're only to, because you're stuck on the object then. What is it to be to a sandwich? You see? You got to be through a sandwich. You've got to go to the object, and you've got to go beyond. Right? This is the salvation or the remedy for the problem called addiction. To people, to anything, even to processes, even to feelings. Through, to and through. We fear that we're going to get trapped by desiring something. But we need to appreciate the fact that being in your body is more cramped than anything. For example, if you have a guy who is not only a deadbeat, but he has no hobby, he's actually worse off than the same deadbeat with a hobby. He's better off, too, than he is desireless. He's better off having a relationship with some external object of some kind, even if it is a relative fixation, than it is for him to be literally totally catatonic and in no way linked to his world at all. Huh? So we see how to is an improvement relative to not to or away, even though it has this liability associated with it, right? If we escape the body with some sort of positive desire, we not only tend to blend, but we also get space on the body, the mind, and the relative psychosis of the trap and confinement of the body and the mind. So one of the advantages of two that away does not have is space. Literal, physical space, as well as emotional space, psychic space, so forth. Okay? We need space. We need to get out, to see, to have any option, to have any sense of anything. Right? So it's very important to be outside of the body in that sense. Get out of the fort. Take a skier. A skier skiing on perfect powder is having a great time because he is out. He is literally paying attention to the mountain. You see? This is why he's so enraptured with the whole thing. It gives him a chance to get out of his body. See? So there's a girl dancing like mad in front of the music, right? She's getting the music. It gives her relief from, you see, the body, really. She's so in tune with it, like the skier is in tune with it. Space. Release. Oh, how wonderful. Wow, it's great. We skied. You know, have a beer, you know, right? Have a bunny, snow bunny. You see? You know, you deserve it. You skied all day, right? You know, indulge yourself. All right? That's skier transcendence, dancer transcendence of the body, huh? And the sense of well-being that comes from it. Love rapture is that as well. So here's what happens. Now let's watch how desire can actually work for spiritual transcendence. First, we focus on an object of desire. This is love rapture now. Okay? And it looks like a tunnel. It's very narrow at first because it's concentrated and it's focused and looks like it's to an object. Right? But within that, you feel a sense of energy. Somewhere in that tube of your consciousness, you begin to be aware there's a little glistening. There's a little radiant. There's a little energy. If you follow that for a while, even as you continue with your two-ness, you find that the two-ness begins to expand. You start to become aware of something larger, which is this energy. That it isn't just in this, focus tube, it's in this room. Gradually, your consciousness is expanding, quite literally, from this narrow tube, right? As it expands, you are expanding, you see? You yourself are with that. That's part of it. You either have the experience of becoming lost in the light, if you follow this logically and faithfully, this radiance, or you have the experience of being lost in a merger between you and your beloved, both of which are essentially the same. But subjectively, they may feel different to you. One has a personalized component to it, one is totally in the abstract. It's more a matter of interpretation than anything else. The fact is, your beloved is God. So, the whole thing's a moot point in an intelligent circle. But here on Earth, we speak in these terms. This is what we have to do. Okay? We think it's all very significant and different. Okay? But so you see how this works. At some point, that personal love becomes universal love. At some point, that personal gesture becomes cosmic freedom. You, as addicts, don't know that. And so you tend to fear desiring. You do not realize it as anything but another addiction. Not fully. Okay? And therefore you fear it. You do not actually understand, having done this with it so much, that it is not what you think. Even if you are so indelicate as to absolutely fall in love with someone or something, you will find, if you stay awake, that you will not simply become a dumb addict, even in that most dastardly possibility. What will happen, however, is you will realize that you are still smaller than you want to be. And if you stay awake and you do not collapse, you will throw that off too. And you will go through. Because you will not have it. And if you continue to feel in the midst of even that addiction, you will realize what your heart is continuing to goad you to, which is further. You see? You want more. You see? Your desire is alive. You're not done yet. Are you done? No, of course not. You want more. You want what you want, you see? And so you continue. And I'm saying continuing on is the possibility for a human being, as opposed to a dummy who can't figure out what's wrong with the situation. Continue on. On. You see, on will get you there. On is what you know. You see, on is what your heart wants out of it. If there is a problem, go on. Do not go back. Go on. You see? If you go back, you have to start all over again. You get cramped. You can't breathe. You get all these knots because you're too away. You see, it's all getting very dense in here as you try to pull deeper and deeper into your shell, right? You have to start again. You have to want something, and then you want it enough so you can start to expand. Then you can breathe. You're feeling a little more chipper. People say you look better, you know. Then you either get the chance to decide you're an addict, or you love through and beyond. If you decide you're an addict, you go back, you have to start again. You cannot be in the cramp. You cannot be confined. It will not work. You see? Because you can't breathe. You won't have it. It's smaller than what your spirit can tolerate. It's claustrophobia. That's why desire is important. Desire becomes a fire, huh? It becomes an extroversion. I want, okay? It becomes love. I see. I see what I want, huh? I have the consciousness to see it in detail, huh? You love what you know. Well, after I get to know you, I might love you. I don't know. Right?
If you know me, you'll love me.
Yeah. To know, and I do. So, that's how that tune goes. All right? Extroversion becomes love. Love becomes expansion of consciousness, transcendence of the body for it. In rapture, love becomes rapture. Rapture, welling of energies, sense of freedom, sense of hugeness. Oh my gosh, huh? How wonderful. Poets start getting out pens and shit, huh? Right? Computers, right? All right. And that rapture becomes unity. It becomes the literal reality of that I am you. And that is not desire, that is being. desire becomes a fire, which becomes extroversion, which becomes love, which becomes rapture, which becomes being.